Hi, I'm Josh Oakes, and welcome to MediaLeaders.com. I'm the author of Light, Bright, and Polite, and I travel the country teaching teens and tweens how to shine online, how to be positive and full of gratitude on social media so they can someday impress colleges and future employers. Today, we have a very similar story for a very different demographic. If you are a professional or looking to get a job or looking to change your career, today I have some experts from all over the country. They're going to talk with us about what should your social media look like to make sure that you shine online. We're going to look at some good examples, some bad examples, and we've got some tips. First, I'm going to start with Vince Smith. And Vince is the Director of Strategic Channels at OutMatch, which includes a technology that helps high-profile companies worldwide evaluate thousands of job applicants each year. Hey, Vince, welcome to the video, and walk us through, do employers actually look at candidates' social media?
Yeah, absolutely, Josh. They most certainly do. And, I think it's important for everybody out there to realize that everybody right now has some sort of a cyber footprint, and nothing is private, right? Anything you post online through any kind of platform really lives forever out there. And it turns out that employers are actively researching this information to really get some more rounded information about a particular candidate. And they use it for the forces of good, to find out if you're going to be a good fit with their company. But there's also a lot of evidence that they're looking to screen out people if they find things that aren't to their liking, or perhaps display a part of your personality that doesn't really, say provocative photos and things like drinking, things of that nature. BuzzFeed did put out a really cool infographic. If you just search social media in BuzzFeed, you'll come up with it, that states that 76% of recruiters are actively looking at a person's social media presence. Wow. When they're considering them for a job. And about 70% of them are using that information to dismiss, or have used that information to dismiss candidates from the process. So it is something that is alive. It is happening right now, and I think everybody first and foremost needs to be aware of it. And of course, the top reasons for dismissals are provocative and inappropriate photos and commentary about drinking and drugs. And then the other one that came up was slandering colleagues or your employer. So if you're talking badly about those people that you work with, you get in a heated argument and you vent about it on one of your social media channels, guess what? Recruiters are looking at that, and they're dismissing you from the application process when they find that information.
Wow, so that's really powerful. Thank you so much for that. Next, we're over to Toronto, Ontario. Jennifer Boulay is a career coach, human resources professional, and the owner of Boulay Mac Consulting. She dedicates much of her time to improving the careers of millennials. Hey, Jennifer, welcome to the video, and please give us your 3 tips on how people can essentially shine online.
Okay, sure, no problem. So one of the first things that people can really do to shine online, really get noticed, is take part in activities that are meaningful to your career. Employers are consistently looking for people who are looking to grow, looking to be a part of the team, so you really need to show your expertise. It's really competitive. In North America, we have a really highly educated workforce. So what you want to do is go into LinkedIn, go into Facebook, go into Twitter, take part in industry conversations. You never know who's watching those. You could possibly get noticed by the right kind of person, which could possibly lead to an opportunity. Another thing is watch your spelling and grammar. People tend to really be looking out for that kind of stuff. It really shows attention to detail. And make sure that you're constantly consistent, and things that you're talking about don't have a conflict of interest.
That's very, very wise. All right, next we're jumping over to Stan. Stan Kimmer had a 31-year career at IBM in several roles, including human resources. Stan now runs Total Engagement Consulting, which engages employees in meaningful long-range career planning. Stan, welcome to the video, and talk to us about what are some positive qualities that a person can have online.
Well, thanks a lot. It's great being here. And I'm going to talk a lot more generally than Jennifer. Is that, HR people, when they're looking at who they're going to hire, will look for the overall impression that the person gives. Are they positive? Are they upbeat? Do they say supportive things to their friends? Do they support worthy causes? Does this person come across as someone who's going to be a positive team player in our environment? And I also want to share, some of the negatives that companies can look at to disqualify a candidate. In addition to things shared earlier, do they exhibit sexist, racist, or homophobic attitudes that could make it hard for them to work within a diverse environment? For example, I once wrote a blog about figure skaters, because I do follow figure skating. I'm a figure skater myself. And there are a lot of nasty comments, that people wrote about, figure skating is so gay. What's so difficult about prancing around in pretty clothes? It's not really a sport. And my first thought was, I would never hire someone like that, because if they're exhibiting like homophobic attitudes, would they get along with gay coworkers in a diverse environment? And they're also spouting out about things they know nothing about. And I'm afraid if I would hire them, that they might give bad information and act like an authority on something they don't know anything about, actually with coworkers or with clients.
Yeah, no, that's a really great example. It's very true, and that's one of the things we talk about. We tell students nationwide, is this something that's positive and full of gratitude? Be yourself. You can be silly, but is it something that's positive and full of gratitude? And when you do post, ask yourself, is it light, bright, and polite? I want to pull a couple more tips. I think this is a really good conversation. I learned, Stan, from you. Essentially, from all of you, I'm learning, get caught doing something right. That's kind of what Jennifer is saying to us. Jennifer, you were saying, go around and be an industry expert in these fields. And I bet if you Google somebody, have you ever Googled somebody and said, oh, wow, they're in this group talking about industry best practices. They get caught talking in a professional manner. Have you ever found somebody doing that?
Yeah, I've actually come across in Toronto. I'm really involved in the HR community, and I've actually found entry-level professionals who had just come out of university, and some of their writing, they had all this amazing stuff. They had this blog that was so well written. One student I recently met, and I had no idea. They thought they didn't have any talent. When I found all the stuff about them on the internet, I was really impressed. That's
great. They get caught doing something right. Hey, Vince, your technology kind of does this, right? You essentially, and you're telling people that employers do listen. What's one of the things that people should get caught doing right? Do you have any tips there?
Yeah, sure. There's, like we talked about before, being part of the conversation, especially on, there's a lot of social media platforms out there. LinkedIn is just simply the most used by recruiters, period. They look at other stuff, but there are a lot of discussions and forums and groups in LinkedIn. People post questions about different things within their line of work. Go on there, join the groups on LinkedIn, participate in those conversations and have something to add. That immediately brings you up in the light of other recruiters that are, they watch those things. If you are familiar with the app Quora, right? Go on to Quora. If you have if you can answer a question on Quora that relates to your particular industry, right? That's the kind of stuff that gets read, and you will get caught doing something positive in that sphere that you're, that you're in. Another one I like a lot is an app called Medium. It's really just a place for people to write, but it's, if you write about stuff that you love and that you're passionate about, other people will find that. And they'll read it, and you'll get noticed. So it is pretty easy these days to make yourself highly visible about the things that you're passionate about and about the work that you want to do. So, do those things. That's how you're going to get caught.
Absolutely. And Stan, you bring up a good point. I am a former Disney person, younger in my career. Disney's all about diversity. I mean, people come from all walks of life to build such an incredible brand. And I think you really hit it on there. If you don't agree with someone, don't put it on the internet, right? It's derogatory, it's negative, and people don't understand it should be a text message or a phone call. Call your best friend instead of commenting on a YouTube video or something. Am I right there?
You're absolutely right. And of course, you can disagree with people, and there's some very lively discussions on social media in terms of discussing issues, but discuss issues in a mature way without name calling or putting down people.
Yeah,
and that's what I look for.
I'm guessing that every employer, and I don't want to generalize here, but I am an employer with a team, a staff, and an image to keep up to as I travel the country. I would never hire someone that was derogatory towards others online, and this is where I want to get into a really important thing. we're really thankful. We have 3 conferences coming up. One is called the Digital Citizenship Conference. It's on April 22nd, and it is at Microsoft's headquarters in Los Angeles. And it talks about how teenagers, we're talking a totally different dialogue, not only safety, but also being smart. And we tell every teen, you must know your online footprint. But this goes beyond that. We also have what's called the Digital Growth Summit, brought to you by Microsoft once again. And that happens on May 6th in Los Angeles, May 20th in San Francisco. You can see it more at MediaLeaders.com. The one thing that these 2 conferences have in common is that we tell everybody there, know your company's online image, know your online image. And I've got a free tool for everybody on here right now. I ran for politics many years ago, youngest guy on the ballot, city council in Hermosa Beach, California. And I knew that the one thing that I could do that none of the other candidates could do is I could search for myself online and curate positive results on my Google results. And I knew that if I did that, people would meet me in person and then they'd say, is this guy really as nice as he seemed on my doorstep? And they would go Google me and they'd find all these other people saying nice things. So I developed a tool called Footprint Friday. It reminds both parents and professionals every Friday morning at 6 a.m. Pacific. It emails you and says, hey, here's a bunch of buttons. When you click these buttons, it takes your information, applies it to a Google results, and it auto fills out the Google results for you with the formulas we suggest. Puts your first name plus your last name in quotes, and then puts a company name, and there's all these different buttons. Footprint Friday is available at MediaLeaders.com. I use it for myself every day. Many of my staff members use it. All of my friends use it. And then it's also available for parents of teens at SafeSmartSocial.com. You can click the link below. It's called Footprint Friday because it lets you monitor your online image and see what's out there. You know, all these experts are talking about getting caught doing something right. Do you know what you're going to get caught doing? I want you to be on social media. I want your family to be on social media in a positive and safe way. But what is your online footprint? You need to go audit yourself, and this is the best way to do that. I want to give a shout out and thank all of our experts. Jennifer, thank you from Toronto, Ontario. You've been a huge help today. Stan, thank you for your tips. I really appreciate it. And Vince, thank you for coming out and sharing with us your BuzzFeed tactics and your positive stuff. Really want to thank all of you. Now, those of you that are watching right now, you can click the links below for more resources. As always, I want to remind you to keep it light, bright, and polite. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you on the next broadcast. Have a great day, everybody.